Hey, welcome folks to Bible Hope TV. We have a special guest. I want to introduce to you Mary Nell Wyatt, Ron Wyatt's wife. Well, Ron passed away, so I guess you're the widow now for Ron Wyatt. Mary Nell, thank you for joining us today.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about Ron.
The thing about Ron that struck me above all was his faith. I never saw anybody with a faith like that. And I also never met anybody who cared about other people's salvation as much as Ron did. No preacher, nobody.
Did you then go with him to Noah's Ark?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
What'd you think, Mary Nell, when you first saw that amazing place?
I was overwhelmed because it is so large. And it's an ordeal to get down to it, especially back then. And walking down to the Ark is about probably a quarter mile.
Wow.
It's very rugged. You're jumping ditches. And when I got on there, I had the privilege of having Ron point everything out to me and explain everything to me. And there are no words to describe it because I knew exactly that this was it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So how many times did you go back to that Ark?
12, 15 times.
Oh, so you went
like
quite a few times. Okay, good.
Yeah, we still go.
Yeah,
we still go. Yeah.
And did you see some of the drogue stones and stuff? Did he
Oh,
point
of
those
course.
out to you?
Yeah.
How tall were they? Because I couldn't.
About 10 foot tall.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah. Okay.
They're huge. Yeah.
I know the boys had mentioned that they were taller than them, but they didn't say how big they were. So yeah,
that is because they were sticking down into the mud, into the dirt to hold them upright.
Right.
And some of them were laying down, still laying down, but they're very large, very large.
So during the course of the next few years, you're making multiple trips there, and each time Ron is bringing more sophisticated equipment, right, to prove.
Not really. By this time, it had been proven. And we did take the radar a couple times and the metal detectors, but mainly he just kept going back to see if there was anything new. He kept wanting to, well, he knew you couldn't excavate this site or you would ruin it if you didn't do it correctly.
Right.
Because it is so large. Yeah. And there was a 19 expedition that went out there, and what they did is they didn't know what they were looking for. And they used dynamite to blow it up. And Ron believed it was fossilized. The structure had fossilized, which it has. And, we've got a lot of specimens of it downstairs. But a dynamite is going to blow up this fossilized wood into just rocks.
Right.
And they walked away and said, there's nothing of any archaeological interest here.
So
but
what they
he
did
didn't
was
believe
they dynamited an area around the Ark, and it didn't show anything. It didn't produce any evidence, or
it just blew up the structure that was there.
Right. Sort of like turned it into sawdust, so to speak.
Well, a rock, very tiny little rocks.
Wow.
Because it's fossilized. Now, your viewers need to understand, everybody's taught that fossilization takes millions of years. Obviously not, because the Earth, if we believe the Bible, which I certainly do, it doesn't take long at all. What has to happen is something has to be buried and cut off from the oxygen. And then over time, water flows through the dirt, and molecule by molecule, a molecule be washed away, and then a molecule from up here will wash in and settle in that template. And over time, it is totally turned to whatever is in the soil around it. So there's a little bit of the original substance in it. And these wood samples do have organic carbon in them, and that shows that they were once living matter.
And I understand too, people always think that people do these things for pride and for money, and I know that that's not Ron's case. I believe you told me that Ron, when he passed away, he really didn't have
anything.
Any asset.
He gave everything to his work, everything. And I was okay with that because I believed God would take care of us.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything. I mean, we had bought this house, and um, it, it's it was a little bitty house, but it was in the country. I wanted to get him out of the city when he got cancer, and up until then, we lived in a little tiny duplex in Nashville.
Right.
So he didn't he didn't want anything. I mean, you could have offered to give him something, and he didn't want it. He just wanted to be able to do God's work.
Just an incredible amount of proof every time you turn around. Ron
Yes,
saw this, he found this. And, for me, it's so evident that God had led Ron from
yes,
the beginning to the end, because Ron was a faithful, humble man. He wasn't somebody that was out for glory.
he would pray and ask the Lord what he's supposed to do, and then he explained it to me that he would just get an impression, and he didn't know how to explain it. But another thing he did is he would put out what he called a fleece, like Gideon's Fleece. If I'm supposed to do this, have something happen. And we did that a lot. And it absolutely, you've got to have a lot of faith
Yeah,
to do something like that,
for sure.
but he did.
Really appreciate you, Mary Nell. You spent a lot of time, and I appreciate you so much. And this is the
Oh,
beginning of our continued friendship, and we will continue to be in touch. Are you okay if I text you back and forth occasionally?
of course. Absolutely. Sure.
We want to
Hmm.
continue this because I believe God is leading me to impress upon me to prove, Ron Wyatt was a faithful man, and that all the
Yes.
work that you and the boys and everybody did was God led, and that it needs to be told. The story needs to be told. It needs to be told by a person of faith and somebody who believes, and not somebody who is a skeptic trying to disbelieve. So thank you again. On behalf of us, we are grateful to you, and tell your wonderful husband thank you for allowing us to take you away from whatever duties.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is a true honor, and thank you for this opportunity.